Finally, the last one here is on education. I got this question asked a lot. Essentially, by federalizing education, we've taken the power away from the parents and the local school systems and given it to the hands of federal bureaucrats who live thousands of miles away. And if you ask the parents this, you could say, as we've given more and more power to the federal government, what has been happening to the schools? I think most people here realize what's been happening to the schools. They've been getting worse and worse and worse. They have not been improving at all. And the way I expressed it is I said, before the massive centralization of the school systems, if you had something wrong in your school, you can get a couple dozen angry parents to show up at a school board meeting and you could get it changed. As more and more power has been given to the federal government, you've now changed what could be done by a couple dozen angry parents to something that now requires millions of people to start lobbying and raising millions of dollars, a multi-million-dollar national campaign. It's almost impossible. And by federalizing control of the school systems, what you end up with is silly things like having ketchup declared a vegetable for the school lunch program. You all remember that? That happened during the Reagan years. During the Clinton years, not to let him off the hook, they declared salsa a vegetable for the school lunch program. And that's why you don't really want to have centralization of power, especially in the education. And so basically, those are some of the big issues I really found a lot of people had real hot buttons for. And most of them can be handled by reading up on what Ron Paul feels about on each issue. You don't need to use my talking points necessarily. But I think following the 6 basic rules are important. Those 6 rules, again, are, number 1 is don't make your issue their issue. That's really, really important. Talk about what's important to them, not what's important to you. 2 is don't debate them. If they're hostile, just get them out of there as soon as possible. Number 3 is you don't want to rat hole the discussion because, again, a lot of times you get in these mundane details, you've lost them. They're gone. 4 is don't be afraid to say, I don't know. Number 5 is don't trash talk the other candidates because you're wasting time doing that and not talking about Ron Paul. And number 6 is when you made the sale is to stop selling. And one last point here to leave you with is that truth sells itself. It's lying that's expensive. There's a reason why these other campaigns have to raise so much money. It's because they're selling lies. And I read an interesting thing once on marketing and particular casino marketing. And these casino companies are trying to convince a community that, hey, let us put this huge casino here and everything's going to be hunky-dory, it's going to be great for your economy. What they found is it took $75 to promote the lie than for every $1 it took to tell the truth. So it's like a 75-1 ratio. It's very expensive to lie. So what we're going to do and what we're presenting with Ron Paul is basically the truth. And if we get people to go home and look up Ron Paul, read about it themselves, you'll find that the truth will sell itself. And that's what I'll leave you with. Thanks for listening.